Parish.
Well, you've got the best of both worlds with this one.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all right.
Okay.
Well, we're going to push on. So that we can,
Yeah.
move on quite quickly. Another situation. Apologies for absence, and I've done.
Just Robert Fernandez and Rachel Fernandez, Parish Councillors. Can I just say, Chair, that this first meeting is a meeting of the parish. It's not a town council meeting.
Right.
It is just a meeting of the electors, parishioners on the electoral roll of the parish of Aldercar and Langley Mill. They're allowed to come to a meeting once a year and ask any questions that they wish to.
Right. Okay. Okay, not any apologies at the moment, no.
No apologies, Chair. The minutes
Well,
are,
obviously
they are just straightforward, saying that last year there were no matters raised by the electorate.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Right, I'm just reading my report. Happening there. I'm delighted to have served you as your chairman over the past years. I'm also pleased to tell the residents that following the flooding of the Cromford Road last November, repairs have now finally been completed and the office at 47B Cromford Road is now open once again. It is open Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 AM until 1 PM. We also have dog bags back in stock for residents to collect. I'm sorry it took so long to complete the repairs, but the flooding left us with major repairs to be made and this has taken time. The Parish Council will continue to make a regular donation to the local food bank and also looking at helping other charitable local organisations who contribute to our community. Plantscape will again provide fantastic floral planters throughout the summer. I thought the flowers were quite nice. The flowers, the flowers very nice. I hope residents will enjoy our splendid bus trips this year. We're providing trips to Llandudno, Skegness and Skipton Market over the next 4 months. Further details can be found later in the magazine, which is very virtually on the version coming out. Christmas is around the corner again this year, and we're changing our focus with more bright electric displays near the cooperative store on Station Road at the traffic islands near McDonald's, and new for this year on Cromford Road. A fantastic new Christmas tree will again be installed outside McDonald's. The solar lights have appeared in the past and were not very bright or long lasting and have been discontinued. But we hope the new electric lighting will be more than we put forward. Right, we'll move on over.
Chair, financial matters. This year we raised a precept of £93,100 and with a conscious with effort we actually spent £135,000 this year, which was £35,000 more than last year. Our income was up by about £20,000. So really about a 16,000 extra spend that we put into the local community. And in fact, I think we gave out £12,100 worth of grants this year to local organisations. That leaves us this year with a balance in the bank of £125,765 from the 31st of March of this year. And obviously, to be added to that throughout the year will be a £97,000 precept. Any questions on the accounts? No, Chair, move on then.
Move on, matters raised by electors.
I've had no matters raised by the electorate. Is there anybody in the room who would like to ask any questions of the Parish Council?
I would. Just about this, you mentioned the flooding earlier on.
Yes.
Is there any plans obviously to stop it happening again? And I've heard the problem is more green. That they opened the. Is there any plans to stop it feeding down here, the water next time? You know, is there a barrier going in? Because I don't know if the plans are going through for the houses at the back of the old pub. You know, they're trying.
I think that's still on hold.
Yeah,
That one.
because that could cause more problems, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So is there?
Clear, wouldn't it?
Chair, can I answer that? In terms of Derbyshire County Council, who carry the responsibility for flood defences, they are currently liaising with local authorities on what they're trying to do in time for the winter. And I'll take that question back, and we'll put an answer in the minutes of this meeting, because I think it's a worthy and interesting question to ask. We've all heard rumours about what caused it, but nobody's really given any answers at this point. So thank you for that. I will take that up and I will give you a personal answer.
Because it has cost a lot of people a lot of money, hasn't it?
It has.
Yes,
Just on that, Andrew, I spoke to you a few weeks ago about his name, Jimmy Cox was on about this water tank that's halfway up Cromford Road.
yeah.
So I wonder if it's worth us investigating that. If it is there, if it's still functioning, if it's being maintained, because that was, I don't know if you remember that, that was put in there.
It was.
Yeah.
To stop the water flooding
Yes,
down
it
from
was
up.
that. That's
Again, thank you for reminding me, Councillor. As I mentioned to you privately earlier, I've got a senior officer from the Highways Department coming down to go visit a number of sites in Hena, Cogner and Langley Mill a week on Tuesday. So it's something that I can bring him down and ask his advice on and see if we can get some answers.
Yeah, because that should be on their plans if it's there, and what maintenance regime you've got for it.
moving on then, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of the annual parish meeting, and we're now to move on to the annual meeting of Aldercar and Langley Mill Parish Council.
Chairman, the election of chairman. That's the first one.
I think we've got
Election of chairman.
apologies.
Well, yeah, is there any, well, we've done any, haven't we? No, whatsoever. No. Who's missing? No. That's the one. And that's that. We've gone on, haven't we?
That's it.
That's it, sorry, yeah. Election of chairman's right.
Oh,
My apologies, Chairman.
thank you.
Mark
Clark has apologised.
All of these meetings.
You be careful. You be careful.
We're doing too many meetings.
Right, election of chairman. We have some proposals, please.
I propose Michael.
Okay, can we have a second?
I second.
Sorry.
We have made a proposal, sorry.
Can we have a second, please?
I didn't hear what he said, sorry.
Yeah.
I propose councillor
Anybody else want it now? We've counted it. Yeah, so just put your hands up then, all of you, then we know it's all right, don't we? That's fine, thank you very much, Pat. And I'll do my job, you know that. Yeah, that's fantastic. Secretary of Office, I've got to sign it.
Yeah, you will sign it after the meeting,
No
Chairman.
problem, apologies for absence.
Councillors Fernandez, both Councillor Fernandez, Robert and Rachel Fernandez have submitted their apologies.
Oh, right, okay, that's fine. That's okay. Election of Vice Chairman. We have a Stephen, we have a second? Yeah. Vote on it, please. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
I said you liked it.
Got no choice now.
There you go. We can pick on him now, you see, can't we? Declaration of members' interest. Yes, good. Oh, right, cool. Oh, yeah, you're right.
There are no planning matters tonight.
There's no planning matters anyway in that one, so.
Stay away, yeah.
Yeah. So if John's not going to turn up, then you think?
I've suggested to one resident who wanted to come along and speak on a matter that we've got in part 2, I think it is,
Yeah.
that he comes at 7 o'clock if he can make it. The reason for that, there are special circumstances relating to him that he does not wish to be filmed and shouldn't be wished, so we would have to take it in private and confidential. And at that point, whether we're continuing with the meeting or not, I would ask the resident not to film that part of the meeting. I've sort of anticipated tonight that we'll probably get to the end of this agenda around 7 o'clock, so that won't inconvenience anybody.
Okay. Fine.
You know, on the planning thing, last meeting really got killed with that.
Yeah, obviously,
Do you not have to, because Vicky's moved, the shops are moving. She's gone from the George's wine shop down there, she's coming here, isn't she? Planning to do that?
They've got the licence, it's gone through in that time, yes.
Yeah.
You know, obviously not having a meeting last time
I remember
disrupted
being
the
on the
council
bus.
business.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember
I'm
being
sure,
on the
yeah.
bus,
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, you're right.
Mr Chairman, can I
Yes.
read the daily report?
Of course you can.
Thank you. Right, Borough Council report. The treasure trail and climbing frame on Queen Street Road should now be completed. Has there been a refurbishment?
Yeah, there's
Queen Street.
Yeah, there's been some blue
That was
stuff.
actually from the
Yeah.
last meeting,
Yeah.
but we didn't get that bit done. But last night's Borough Council meeting was most concerned with civic matters, the election of chairman.
Yeah.
Councillor Paul Oakley, BEM, was elected as mayor. Councillor Steve Marshall-Clark being elected as the deputy mayor. The new mayor's charity for the year is Derbyshire Association of Carers and Young Carers. Last year's mayor, Councillor Tony Holmes, his charity raised £4,000, which was split between Ripley Hospital League of Friends and Derbyshire Ambulance. Apparently it costs us £2,000 every time the air ambulance
Yeah, that's
helicopter
right,
is
yeah.
off. I didn't know that.
They get no government funding whatsoever.
No.
No, they don't.
I've actually got placed back onto the planning board committee and the licensing committee,
You have.
and that's it. That is it, because basically, like I said, it's the appointment of civic heads and people on committees.
Yes. Has anyone got any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Right. Well,
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak, Chairman, for the public?
anybody else at all?
You did 100 for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
minutes then,
The minutes.
next one. Jenny Taylor.
Yeah. Right, I've got minutes for the 28th of March and 25th of April.
Yes, Chairman, I've only presented minutes for the 28th of March, the 25th of March, the meeting did not go ahead other than we started and it ended.
Yeah.
They've been circulated. I would normally have lots of copies here, but unfortunately, I ran out of ink yesterday and still waiting for a delivery. I think that's Brexit that's caused that. So they were circulated to members back in March, so you should have seen it.
Right. The final agenda should retain with the bullets excluded. Any items?
There's two items, Chairman, one on staffing and one on traffic calm.
Let me just put there, let's get these down. Snap, calming. Announcements. Right, well, I can tell you now that because that was corporate and everything's good, the bus trips are on. And we did discuss, didn't we, about having maybe 2 buses for the Skegness one. One bus for the main trip, one to the market, but maybe 2 for the children.
Yeah.
We'll judge that, like we always have done. We'll see if we get a full bus and there's loads and loads of people, then we'll probably do it.
Yeah.
But other than that, things are fine. Me personally, so in my opinion, but I'm pleased about we've dropped the lights because I think the other day, them little lights are, yeah, they really are. And at Christmas, they was very poor.
Yes.
You know, half of them didn't, but they never came out to them.
No.
So I think they've had a good run. They've had a good
Yeah.
run. But I will say this about that firm, they do really good with the flowers. They're pretty good with them.
They do.
And they do water them regularly, come at night, I've seen them doing
Yes.
it. So I was pleased enough with that, so that made me quite happy. But other than that, things as hopefully we can push on and we can try and get a bit more news money as well on some other things as well as the bus trips. It would be nice to
Yes.
move on
Yeah.
and see what we could do with things like that, Sam. And yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, I appreciate that. But I'm sure we can all get together like we always have done. We've always done it.
Have we got the dates for the trips?
Yes, we have, yeah.
20th of June.
20th of June.
London,
No, yeah, that's
And
right.
then I can't read the poster over there.
September the 18th.
18th, I think, wasn't it?
Let me just check.
For the
The children's
Skipton.
15th of August for the Skegness trip for the children.
That's
and
right.
11th of September.
Yeah.
Sorry, 11th of
And
September.
the one to Skipton.
11th of September.
There's a reason why we changed. We've always gone on a Thursday, as everybody knows. On that
It's a
big
Wednesday
news.
because there's a market on.
Yes, that's why we've done that. We've dropped it back to the Wednesday because there is a market on and we've been told, we've had
Yeah.
great reports about it. People say it's a lovely day there, Skipton. It's great, good market, plenty of places open. Yeah, they said it's a really good day, so we should be okay with that.
What's the first one? Children? And June?
London, and then we have the two, well, one, two.
Skeggy's the kids.
Skeggness in the middle, and then we've got Skipton Market in
Skeggness.
September. So, yeah, I think we'll be okay with that. Yeah, pleased with that. Right, basically, it's up to you on to
Mr. Chairman, if I can really take 11A budget and 12C draft accounts together, happy to pass these round so that people can see them. Pass a few more. We basically got £125,765 in balances, and you've got £97,000 worth of precept coming in throughout the year. And our audit, I'm pleased to say, has just been, accounts just been signed off. We've taken the view when we considered our budget that the minimum balance in budget that Aldercar and Langley Parish Council should have is half of the precept, so no more than £50,000 in balances. Now we've got 125,000. A lot of that was always carried because the council carried £50,000 in reserves to purchase a building within the parish. Now, a lot depends on whether the council is happy with the arrangements that we've got at the moment and wish to drop that £50,000 in order to be able to use more money to invest within the community. But even if you kept that £50,000 in there, we do have scope to pump out £25,000 this year back into the community. So we'll be preparing a budget for the next meeting of how we are going to go on. We anticipate that our receipts in 2024-25 will be in the region of £120,000, and our expenditure will be in the region of about £115,000 unless we invest in the same way that we did last year. So in the meantime, the magazine will be going out, and in there will be an article encouraging local community groups to put in an application for grant aid to be considered over the summer. I think we made a big difference to places like the food bank, the cricket club and the boxing club, the Lions Den Boxing Club. And I encourage them, councillors who know them, to encourage them to put in another grant application this year, and hopefully we can help out once again with the work that they do. Interestingly enough, I went up to the Langley Mill Academy the other day, and I gave a presentation on democracy and answered children's questions. And the one thing that struck me was a number of kids there, we're talking 9-year-olds, who were turning around and saying to me, do you know Steve Brown? Do you know Sam Goodman? You know, because they say, yeah, the boxing club's brilliant and the cricket club's brilliant. I said to them, do you realise that, for example, at the cricket club, the parish council's donations that go to them, although they're spent on specific things, they actually pretty much guarantee that those kids can go along and have coaching without having to provide any equipment, without having to pay a fee, whereas if they were going somewhere else, the mums and dads would have to find £10. I wish my lad would take up cricket or boxing rather than MMA, because it's always, I'm in a competition this week, that's £50. So, digressing there, but to finish, can I encourage local groups to put in an application for grant funding? Well, the next item on the agenda.
Can I just make a comment on that?
Yes, sir.
I think we'll all agree on how well Steve and Sam have done for Langley and all that.
Definitely.
And I think we should give them a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, the agenda.
Where's where it's due?
So the next one then is adoption of general power competence. Each year we have to pass a resolution that goes in the minutes to say that we're relying on the general power competence. That basically allows us to do anything that isn't illegal. Whereas if we don't use the general power competence, we have to rely on a line in the law book that says a parish council can do this. So we get a little bit extra leeway from our auditors because you have an elected council and you have a Silca qualified clerk, and that's what you need, but it does need to go down in the minutes. So can I ask members to accept that?
Yes.
Third one is insurance. Our insurance this year, bearing in mind that we had a claim, last year it was about £1,200, this year it is £1,300, so not so bad when you consider that every insurance policy that I know of, including all the personal ones, have been offered at renewals at 40% higher than what it was last year. So I've renewed that just for 1 year and we'll see how the market goes with the fever.
Thank you, that's good. That's good.
The final one on there is events. Time is moving on. We missed a couple of meetings this year. We will come back to you to the next meeting with some plans for some minor events. I don't think we can be running a Cromford Road Festival this year. We certainly have indicated we didn't want to run one at Christmas this year. We've been asked by the organisers of it last year whether we would assist with the Cromford Road Christmas Festival, and I have said that council have discussed this and said any events that we run will be run by the town, by the parish council. I've got some proposals for some wins in terms of getting some characters and things like that down and fair rides onto Cromford Road later in the year. It will be our event, run on our insurance and run by our staff, even if that means having to come to you to say, can we employ some temporary staff to help run these events, because I'm getting quite old now and it can't all fall underneath the office manager, so we'll have a programme for the July meeting that we can move on. We'll look to have some sort of event late summer.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Then on finance, the payments were circulated last month. They're the only ones I'm putting forward just to be approved and go in a minute. And the bank reconciliation is as per the accounts that I've circulated, which shows the balance on the 1st of April was £145,081. If you add in the total receipts of £116,010, take off the payments of £135,300 odd, it leaves us with a balance in our cash book of £125,765.97. And we have in our banks in the current account £75,273.85, and in the Unity Trust Bank £50,492.12, which equals what we should have, £125,765.97. And if you ask why we got two bank accounts, it's because we try to ensure that we don't have more than 85,000 in each bank, so we could guarantee some banks suddenly went bust. And as I say then, the draft accounts I mentioned earlier, we've just received a report of the internal auditor, which I've circulated by email to members, that certifies our accounts as correct and makes two recommendations for next year. The first one being that our financial risk assessment be amended to include more detail, setting out whether a risk is low, medium or high. And it also recommends that the clerk writes an internal control booklet that states how these things are done, how we get into the bank accounts, how we make payments, so that if the clerk wasn't there, somebody else could pick that up and the council could carry on functioning. And as a bonus, the auditor's fee this year was £180, which is £1,800 cheaper than what we were paying 3 years ago with the house.
That's the fact. Terrific thing.
I've got no planning applications for this meeting, so it brings us into exclusion of press and public, Chairman.
Can I just ask, the £50,000, is that in an investment, or is it just in a normal account?
Just in a normal account. I think it's something we need to start looking at, that if we're not going to reduce our balances, we can probably afford to tie some of that money up, because you'll see we're in very low interest groups, £19 worth of interest this year. Whereas
the interest rate's not very good, anyway.
well, they've improved, the Parish Council, because they tie up £30,000 for 3 months at a time. They made £633.
That's what I'm looking at then, so.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And one other thing, there was some email on about your school visit. You mentioned something about racism.
Yeah, that's one for next time. It'd probably be good if this was being filmed. We had, if you want an addendum, you can do. Basically, I went to Langley Mill Academy a couple of days ago, and I met the whole of Year 4, and they've come up with about 20 questions for the council. Or for me, and we answered what we could, but one of them that came out, one that stirred my heart anyway, was a young boy that said to me him and his family had encountered racism and problems settling into the area at Langley Mill, and all he wanted to do, he said, was make a home and live in peace with everybody. And he wanted to know what could the Parish Council do to celebrate the diversity of Aldercar and Langley Mill. And I said I was really impressed by a 9-year-old asking that question, and so I took his details, some out of contact him, not all his details, just his name, first name and year, and I said that we would write to him in 6 weeks or so. To address his questions, so I put it on the agenda next time, and it's food for thought. What could we do? You know, we have resources. Is it something we want to get involved in? Something that I'd certainly not thought of, but I could see how it affected that
Yeah, yeah.
group of children.